Hello, this is Jerry Morton. Welcome to my Finding My Way podcast. This is podcast number 21, titled What If? What If is a story from my adult years. The collection of stories I have written and am reading to you cover many subcultures in our country that I have interacted with from childhood to my adult and senior years. A more extensive introduction to the Finding My Way stories takes place in the beginning of Podcast 1. Regardless of which podcast you are listening to, you will find the story both entertaining and worthy of your reflective thoughts concerning its contents. The stories, as a collection, provide insights into a span of time that has played a role in shaping American culture and influencing its future. The stories provide you with a sense of admiration for the culture's collective courage and our country's commitment to justice and its optimistic willingness to address new challenges. What if? Our monthly gathering of the newly graduated or about to graduate PhD psychology students continued to meet every third Monday of the month into the late spring of 1974. Thus far, our investigation into psychic claims or miraculous healings had found fraud and manipulation, but nothing of fact to verify the existence of actual psychic phenomena. It was what we expected to find, but it was disappointing. One thing we all did agree upon: our activities were entertaining. We enjoyed doing the investigations, reporting our personal observations, and hearing the reports of the others about theirs. In those respects, our time was not wasted. We were running out of things to check. It looked as if we would have to end the gatherings, or at least the gatherings for the purpose of investigating psychic phenomena, before long. One member of our group reported that he had heard of a woman, a black woman, who reads palms. She was reported to be very good at it, he noted. Since he knew where she worked in one of the region's major institutions, he would get her phone number and invite her to meet with us. That sounded like a good idea. It was agreed that she would be invited to meet with us in 2 weeks. That would be on a Monday evening at 7 at my house. He would call her and get the date arranged. Once she agreed, he would let me know, and I would call all the others. A day or two after our contact man called, he called to say that he had reached the woman, Melba. She had agreed to come and to give us a demonstration of her palm reading skills. I called the others. It was all set. The Sunday afternoon before the meeting, our contact person called to report that Melba could not attend the meeting the next night. She had unexpected meetings she needed to attend that evening. She was most apologetic, he said. She suggested that she meet with us a week from Monday. That was fine with my wife and me. I called the others. We all agreed to meet with Melba a week from Monday at 7 at our house. We were gathered in the basement family room, waiting for Melba to arrive that Monday evening. The meeting time, 7, arrived without Melba. By 7:15, we began to think that this was a bust. Melba was not coming. Our contact member said he would call her tomorrow and see if another meeting date could be arranged. The phone upstairs rang. My wife, who was walking up the stairs, said she would get it. As our group continued to share the news of the week since we had last met, I could hear my wife's voice as she talked on the phone. "I can get him for you. It's no problem. Okay, I can take a message if you want me to." I walked up the stairs to see who it was. "Oh, here he is. You can talk to him," she said into the phone, and then handed it to me, mouthing the words, "It's Melba." "Hello, this is Melba. I am so sorry to call you like this. I was in a meeting. It has just ended. I will have to reschedule your meeting." "Oh, my. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm getting such strong psychic impressions. I'm getting such strong impressions. It's so strong." Yes, I'm thinking, I've got me a crazy on the line. I can hear Anna tell the others that Melba was in a meeting and won't be coming. She tells them that I am talking to her now. "You are very interested in the ancient Mayan civilization and the ancient Egyptian civilization, aren't you?" "Well, I guess I was. I mean, everything that comes out about the two civilizations, I read it. I had a book teaching you how to read Mayan hieroglyphics that I sometimes looked at." Then again, I thought to myself, isn't everyone interested in those two civilizations? Another thought that rapidly crossed my mind was to be very careful not to give Melba too much verbal or nonverbal information that she could use later in the conversation to prove her so-called psychic abilities. "Yes," came my cryptic reply. I couldn't help but be a little impressed that she would know this about me. "Well," she went on, "the reason you are so interested in them is that those two civilizations were set up by you. You were the one that led the groups that created these civilizations." "I have a wacko on the line," was my immediate thought. What a piece of science fiction this is. "You need to wear something purple for the next 3 days." Wow, this woman is long gone. Why am I listening to her? Well, it will be fun to tell the group about this conversation, I told myself. "You have been thinking about a girl you dated in high school, a petite redhead. You were the one who broke off the relationship. She has been on your mind for the last 2 weeks. You have been puzzled as to why she entered your mind and stayed there after all this time. You can't stop thinking about her." That's absolutely true. The girl has been on my mind. I had been constantly thinking about her these past few weeks. It has disturbed me that she has stayed on my mind like this. Melba has just read my mind. What is going on? I am completely shaken. I have not mentioned to anyone that I have been thinking so much about this girl. How could Melba know this? My wife didn't even know that she was a petite redhead. Only a few friends in Pittsburgh knew about her because the girl went to a totally different high school than mine. Only one close friend in Pittsburgh knew that I was the one who broke off the relationship. Melba has stunned me. There is no possible way she could have acquired this information about me from another person. The reason you broke off the relationship is that you knew that the two of you were not to be together for this lifetime. You two had been together in ancient Egypt. You were co-rulers of the kingdom during that time together. The reason you have been thinking about her for the last 2 weeks is that she needs your prayers. You are to pray for her and send her your blessings." This is crazy. This Melba person is speaking crazy talk. I don't pray for people. A past ruler of Egypt, a co-ruler of Egypt. Give me a break. Hey, the woman knew I was thinking about the girl for the last 2 weeks or more when no one else knew it. I had not told a soul about thinking about the girl. She knew the girl was a petite redhead. She knew I was the one who broke it off. There's no way Melba could know these things, but she did. My world is being turned upside down. You have been thinking about putting yourself in therapy. You are displeased with your behavior patterns while under extreme stress. Don't do it. You will master the behavior patterns within the month because of the new insights about yourself you are now receiving. My God, how could she know this? I haven't even mentioned this to my wife. After trying to use behavior modification strategies on myself without success, I had concluded that I just might need to seek out a therapist. I had reached that decision just a day or two ago. This woman is walking around inside my mind. How can this be possible? You and your wife have been noticing and commenting on the fact that young children seem to follow you with their eyes or try to leave their parents to come to you when they see you in places like the grocery store. The reason for this is that the veil has not yet fallen over their eyes. At that young age, they can still see through the three-dimensional blocks to the spirit world. They recognize you as their former teacher. They recognize you and love you. Oh, Lord, what is happening to me? She's absolutely correct. My wife and I have commented on this strange happening. Young infants and toddlers sitting in strollers or grocery carts have been looking at me with big smiles on their faces and tracking me with their eyes as I walk the aisles where they are. Some of the children would raise themselves from their seat positions to be able to better view me as I moved past the edge of their aisle. Some toddlers would even try to walk away from their caregivers to follow me. Often the mothers would look at their children, gain eye contact with me, and just shrug their shoulders. I would smile and shrug back. Naturally, I always smiled back at the children and would sometimes wave goodbye. I thought the children looked at me just because of the skills I had acquired to work with young children with emotional issues. I learned how to read many of their nonverbal communications and to communicate back to them without the use of words. The explanation Melba was giving for this happening was just too much. But how did she know this was even happening? Only my wife and I were aware of it. We had never spoken of this phenomena to anyone. I was badly shaken. My concept of reality being confronted by another way of interpreting the world. I was dismayed. Then Melba launched into talk about my career, going far into my future. She went into how I would not fully understand the impact of what I have on others until long after I left the field, if then. My work in education and my writings would be valued in many countries, and particularly in Canada. She went on like this for at least 15 minutes. What can you say about predictions made far into the future? There's not a way you can know until the prediction comes true if the predictions are correct. Even if they are, would you be able to remember anything but the basic generalities of the prediction? Towards the conclusion of Melba's monologue to me, she stated, "A young child will be presented to you this Friday. The child is being brought to you for the specific purpose of having you bless it. The child is 6 months old." No, that's not right. Anyways, 6 is in its age somehow. It's extremely important for you to bless this child. You are to place your hand on the top of the child's head, over the soft spot that hasn't closed on top of its skull, and ask for God to bless this child. Do you understand? Yes. Oh, no. I don't bless children. I don't ask God to bless children. I'll make a fool out of myself. Friday is a horrible day. Some of the spouses of the graduate students working for the Educational Cooperative bring in their young children during the working day to say hello to everyone. Friday is the day this is most likely to happen. What am I going to do if one of them brings in a young child? How will I know which of the young children that come in is the right one if more than one comes in? Will I try to bless all of them just to be safe? Blessing any of them will make me out to be a wacko. What am I to do? Now I am serious about your wearing something with purple in it for the next 3 days. It's important that you do this. Do you understand? Well, I've been thinking about that. I don't have any purple articles of clothing. Until this point, I had purposely refrained from saying anything. I did not want to give Melba any verbal or nonverbal clues as to the accuracy of her statements. See if this makes any sense to you. I am standing in a small space looking through a partially open doorway. I see half of a dresser bureau. I see half a drawer. It is a small drawer that can be seen on the visible half of the dresser. I am thinking, Fruit of the Loom. Does that make sense to you? Yes. My wife puts my boxer shorts in that drawer. I have a pair of boxer shorts with purple designs like purple flower petals. Oh, you know what to do. I have to go now. Remember to wear purple for the next 3 days and bless that child on Friday. Tell the others that I apologize for having to miss the meeting with them. I'll get back in touch with you later. Goodbye. Goodbye. I was in shock. There was no way that this woman could have known about my interest in the Mayan culture or the ancient Egyptian culture. The girl in Pittsburgh, the children staring at me, or my decision to consider going into therapy to better manage my internal behavior and dealing with stress. Then there's this whole issue concerning my purple underwear. The fact that she accurately described the view of that dresser was the final demonstration that something beyond the three-dimensional world was being proven to me. When Melba said that she was standing in a small space looking through a partially open doorway, she was accurately describing our bathroom door to the master bedroom. At that time, our house had one bedroom. You could enter it from the hallway or from our bedroom. Entering from the hallway, you were actually entering the vanity area, and then you would progress into the second area of the bathroom, the commode and bathtub shower space. A little in front of the commode and to the left of the bathtub shower was a short hallway leading to the master bedroom. A door opened from the bedroom into the bathroom. The door could not fully open as the floor scales blocked it. Looking through the partially open door, you could see the left corner of our bedroom. Sitting catty-corner in the far left corner of the bathroom was our dresser. Standing at the half-open door separating the bathroom and the bedroom, you could see the right half of the dresser. The drawer area of the dresser was approximately 4 feet high with 2 sections of drawers. The top section consisted of 2 small drawers side by side. Beneath those drawers was a large drawer running the length of the 2 small drawers above it. The right side of the dresser was all that you could see of the whole dresser while you stood looking through the half-open bathroom door. That view included the right half drawer. My boxer shorts are stored in that drawer. Melba had described that dresser as if she were standing in the bedroom doorway, as if she was physically there. I am standing in a small space, looking through a partially open door. I see half of a dresser. I see half a drawer. It's a small drawer that can be seen only on the visible half of the dresser. It is a drawer that is just half of the dresser. I am thinking Fruit of the Loom. Does that make sense to you? Well, yes. It makes perfect sense to me, and it scares the hell out of me. She was completely accurate in describing my bathroom, bedroom, and the dresser. She was even accurate in identifying the maker of the boxer shorts. When I walked down the stairs to report to the rest of the group, they could tell that I was in some kind of a state of shock. I described the phone conversation in great detail to the group. Somehow, they did not seem as excited as I felt. One of the members asked, "Do you think it was real? Do you think you encountered a real psychic?" "Yes, there's no doubt about it. I don't know what to make of her explanation for the factual information she somehow acquired. I still can't deny that she simply knew things about me that she could not have known. I can't explain that." The next morning, I did put on those boxer shorts, the ones with the purple flower petals. Well, I wasn't going to take any chances. Yes, I felt foolish doing it. Until I could figure out what was going on, I wasn't taking any chances. There was a whole world that I knew nothing about. This was no longer a parlor game. This was real. For the rest of the week, I was in emotional turmoil. I had trouble sleeping at night. What would I do if a 6-month-old child or a young child with 6 in its age were somehow presented to me? Would I actually ask God to bless the child? Would I embarrass myself in front of my peers to do some voodoo-like behavior based on debunked superstition? Would I risk hurting an innocent child by not asking God to bless it when the child had been specifically brought to me to bless? I did pray for the girl from Pittsburgh. She was a very kind person. I wanted only happiness for her. A member of the group bought me 3 pairs of purple socks. He delivered them with many humorous comments. After all of the laughter had subsided, we both agreed that it was better to be cautious and follow Melba's instructions while we tried to make sense out of her psychic reading. I tried every way I could think of to explain rationally how Melba knew all those details about me that no one else knew. Since she had my phone number and address, she could have snuck into our house late one night while my wife and the 2 kids were sleeping. Yes, she crept into the house, went into our bedroom, opened the dresser drawers to discover where I kept my clean underwear, and then walked into the bathroom to get a good view from my bathroom door of my underwear drawer. Yes, that would explain her knowledge in a clear 3-dimensional world view. That explanation was more science fiction than her explanations. I needed to do much more serious reading on psychic phenomena, including the Edgar Cayce materials. Of course, bookstores had all kinds of books on psychic phenomena. I would begin reading to find real answers. This was important. Friday arrived, and I was worried. Noon came and went with no young children showing up. I was feeling better. I just might not have to embarrass myself by blessing a little child in a public setting. Then it was 4 o'clock. I was free. We locked up the offices. No one had brought a young child to the office. Melba had been wrong about at least one thing. Hope remained for a normal, 3-dimensional world, for at least some sense of order in what I had always known to be real. As I left the office, I continued the Friday evening routine my wife and I had established. I went to the nearby shopping mall to buy the week's groceries in the large chain supermarket there. I had the grocery list that my wife and I had prepared. The store was always packed with shoppers at that time of day on Fridays. It was a good day and a good time to shop for many families. The exit doors of the store were the same doors used to enter the supermarket, with the numerous checkout counters feeding into those exit entrance doors during the peak shopping hours. Entering and leaving the store was hectic. Since I'd been shopping at that store every Friday afternoon for almost 3 years, I knew how to manage it. Just as I entered the store, an elementary school principal that I knew saw me. I, as well as some of the graduate students interning at the cooperative, had been having some major disagreements with this man concerning changes his school had to make to accommodate the needs of several disabled students. In front of him, he had 2 grocery carts full of food that he had just bought. "Jerry," he called out, motioning me to come to him. "I didn't know you shopped here. How long have you been shopping here?" "About 3 years now, although this is the first time I've seen you here." "How great it is to see you. Now tell me about your family." He kept me talking there, talking to me as if we were long-lost brothers. The time just dragged on as people from his checkout line finished their checkouts and pushed their full carts past us and out into the parking lot. The bag boy stared at us from time to time. I made several attempts to leave, but the principal would grab me by the shoulders and hug me as he continued to talk. I didn't want to be rude, but I had shopping to do. I needed to get on with it. Still, he kept me there. I don't know exactly how long we stood there talking, but it had to be at least a good 30 minutes, when suddenly he moved his hand over my shoulder and grabbed a woman by the arm. I turned to see what was going on. A youngish-looking woman was pushing a grocery cart with a little girl in the child seat, and an older woman was walking beside the cart. "Oh, Jerry, let me introduce these ladies to you." Pointing to the older woman, he said, "This is Mrs. I lost the name as I realized that this little girl with the pretty blonde curls might be the child presented to me to bless. This is She was the first. She was in the first elementary class I ever taught." Placing his hand on the shoulder of the woman pushing the cart with the little girl in it, he said, "And this is her daughter, who is in the first school I was ever principal. And this little girl is her daughter." I nodded to the woman with a warm smile, while bending over to the little girl with my hand moving to her forehead as to brush some curls out of her eyes. I asked, "How old is she?" The mother proudly replied, 16 months. Lightly brushing the curls on her forehead, my hand moved to the top of the child's head as I spoke to myself, "God bless you, little child." After a few more brief exchange, the woman moved on. The principal and I said goodbye. When I got home that evening and related the encounter with the child to my wife, it surely seemed to us that I had been kept at the front of that store for the specific purpose of meeting that child. It seemed that she had been presented to me for a blessing. I did ask God to bless her. I did it because I was afraid not to do it. Clearly, I had entered a new world, a world where things happened outside the commonly accepted beliefs about what constitutes reality. There was no going back. I would never be able to deny what Melba had so dramatically demonstrated to me. I did not understand what this new reality was, but I could not deny its existence.